This Tuesday, there's plenty of goalmouth action with Ray Clements and Peter Shilton.
What a monumental save! What a save!
Yesterday's heroes, Tuesday at 7:30.
Hello, still to come tonight, quiz night in half an hour when the Darleys take on the Park Tavern, and much later on at 2:15 a film story of obsession starring Maid settling as an amnesiac. It's called Portrait from Life. Now sail the world.
Sailing the world with ITV, the Whitbread Round the World race for the Heineken Trophy.
Hello and welcome to Sail the World. The 14 yachts in the Whitbread Round the World race are nearing midway in the long and treacherous second leg through the Southern Ocean.
This week we're at BT Tower in London, which handles all the onboard pictures sent by the yachts via satellite to the UK. We'll have the latest shots from the boats shortly.
Never mind the roaring 40s, it's been more like the boring 40s at times as the yachts have wallowed in conditions like a mill pond.
But the winds are howling again now, and that suits Britain's Laurie Smith, who's beaten his own 24-hour record.
It's not only the boats that have to be in good condition. We look at the fitness level needed to be a top yachty.
And the man who could be described as sailing's John McEnroe. We discover what makes Chris Dixon tick. Well, this is the place where all the video footage beamed back from the yachts is rooted. Here in the nerve centre at BT Tower, pictures are received from all over the world and indeed sent to all corners of the globe. Now, the Whitbread boats keep in touch by a system known as Inmarsat, but they've had some problems this week because of their position deep in the Southern Ocean. Anyway, here's how the race has been going and the pictures we've received.
Unusually mild and murky weather engulfs the fleet early in the week.
What do you think of this cold Southern Ocean?
It looks like England in winter.
England in the summer, actually, I think.
It's really cold and miserable down here. The standard colour of the Southern Ocean is grey.
Is there some sort of fancy dress on?
Fancy dress party tonight. Saturday.
Nice guy, wrong planet.
Infant's progress is slow, but Laurie Smith is optimistic.
But we're still in the lead, we think. And in fact, the wind is just picking up now.
When the wind fills in, it's from the west, allowing tail-enders to play catch-up. Dolphin enjoys the highest average speed of 13.6 knots and makes gains on her nearest rival, Brooksfield. On La Poste, the slowest of the three maxi catches, a crewman makes his regular high-level check. Down below, another is woken from his 4-hour slumber. He has 15 minutes to dress and report on deck. By now, after 2 weeks at sea, crews have settled into their watch systems. Fatigue you can never really shake off. But it's a welcome relief to earn a brief respite from the harsh elements which freeze the hands and numb the face. Food may be monotonous, but at least it's hot. While navigators study the radar for any sign of icebergs, these Frenchmen have their eyes on another screen showing the latest video. For a moment, they forget the wilderness outside. Though in truth, La Poste is far from alone. Birds constantly circle the boat, and whales have also been spotted. On the horizon, there's another yacht. Rossfield has just overtaken Winston to claim 4th place among the Whitbread 60s, picking her way through icebergs.
Beautiful day. Compared to last night, we were blasting along, jib reaching and doing 17 knots, dodging blimps on the radar screen. Today we can see what we've been dodging. Nice big icebergs.
The fleet, led by New Zealand Endeavour, begin to climb north towards the halfway mark of Prince Edward Island when they're hit by a front of severe low pressure. It brings gale force winds. In the big blow, Rossfield's Yamaha is flying. In these conditions, it's sailing on a knife edge, and sometimes you can get it wrong. There's momentary panic on Yamaha. The boat broaches, she's almost laid down on her side. The helmsman and crew struggle to get the 60 upright again, but it's a frightening experience. Laurie Smith's Intrum smashes her own record for the Omega 24-hour challenge, covering 376.6 miles. Smith overtakes the Maxi Merit Cup to go second overall and gains 50 miles on the leader New Zealand Endeavour. The battle may have intensified at the front of the fleet, but further back, the French on the post seem content just to have a good time.
Groovy, just like in the movies, yeah.
Well, the week started off in untypical fashion in the Southern Ocean. No wind, fog, it was even warm. Tracy Edwards heard from the Women's Challenge this week. What did they tell you, Tracy?
That's right, I had a fax right out of the blue from Dawn Riley, saying that it was very warm, very boring, and they were trying to persuade the girls on the boat that hadn't actually done the race before that the Whitbread that we did was very cold and very exciting. But from what I can gather, Laurie Smith has had some quite good wind now, and he's obviously, you know, he's achieved this 24-hour record, and they're having some great sailing from what I can gather.
And the yachts now have started to come across the hazards that the Southern Ocean can throw up.
That's right. I think Matt Humphreys described the other day how they actually had to take down a spinnaker to miss an iceberg. This can happen all too often. They really do come out of the gloom at you. And if you haven't seen them on the radar, then, you know, you do have to sort of swerve to avoid them.
Tracy, what's the next crucial stage in this second leg?
Well, the Prince Edward Islands will be coming up very shortly, I would think, for the leaders now. And this will be the point where they have to decide how close to the islands they go. They obviously don't want to go too far north because that will add extra miles on, and they would want, I would think, to dip down south again to do some sort of a Great Circle route between the Prince Edward Islands and Australia. So although many people don't agree with having the Prince Edward Islands in the race, you know, it could prove to be quite an exciting point for them.
Tracy, thanks. Well, we've seen from those Southern Ocean pictures how cold and tiring it can be for the crews. Let's see now how the crews get fit to face those conditions. Sally Simmons reports.
For the Dolphin boys, lions became a thing of the past. Up at 7 every morning for an hour's workout in the gym.
You have to make yourself get out of bed and go and do it. So, you know, when you're feeling tired, when you're sailing, you know you're a bit better off had you not been training.
Basically, the fitter you are, I think the better you're going to cope with conditions. You know, you're not going to get tired so easily because a fit body means fit mind as well, I suppose.
All the boys are very competitive and they like to, you know, compete against each other in the gym, and they like a good competition. So overall, it's very worthwhile.
That should get him.
Olympic fitness trainers say it takes 3 months to get fit and 3 weeks to lose it. So most Whitbread sailors aim to start each leg at their physical peak. That way they can sustain a reasonable fitness level at sea, where any training programme is impossible. But while the crew of Dolphin put the emphasis on weightlifting to improve their strength, the crew of Winston believe aerobic fitness is the key.
We learned last time on Steinlager that you You don't have to be big and strong, you just got to be aerobically fit. So we basically based our program just on aerobic fitness. It's like a marathon, you just got to keep plugging out as fast as you can and do manoeuvres as quick as you can. And you don't need so much strength. But if you the sails are light, so you don't need the strength to pull them out of the hatch. You just got to do a thing as fast as you can. So you get your head down, you do it as quick as you can, and your job's done. So strength doesn't really come into it.
But Britain's sailing coaches say while aerobic fitness is a good base, strength is more important.
In the Whitbread, the requirements are quite different. I mean, they're moving towards the requirements of any long-term endurance type athlete. However, it's not a particularly aerobic activity in that they're not running around the boat with high heart rates for a great length of time. But what they do need is a great deal of strength. A number of the activities within the boat, the Whitbread boats, have very high loads associated with them, so they have to be able to move very high loads and maintain that for a short period of time. So strength is more of a requirement than pure endurance.
Well, one thing the Whitbread crews don't have to worry about is their weight. Not only does body fat keep the boat upright, it also acts as a reserve of energy in the freezing temperatures of the Southern Ocean.
So what does being Whitbread fit actually mean? Tracy, what's your definition?
Well, I think you have to be fit, obviously. You have to be strong to take the sails in and to manhandle wet sails about the boat. But I think really fitness for the Whitbread means stamina. You know, it's all very well to have the immediate strength, but that strength's got to last for 5 weeks. You know, you've got to be able to keep that strength going. And I think the stamina that you build up for the Whitbread is often built up through years of sailing.
So what do you think then about sort of this instant fitness, like jogging, like cycling, like swimming, building up that fitness for the Whitbread?
I don't think you can really build it up, sort of just start a year before the Whitbread and build up, you know, this incredible strength and fitness and stamina. I think if you already have that fitness there, then you can obviously top it up by doing the jogging and the cycling and the weights and the gym and everything. And the girls did a lot of gym work before the start of the race, but they were very fit when they joined the project. And we'd all been sailing, I mean, professionally for sort of 12, 15 years each. So, you know, we had that fitness and that stamina, and then we just really topped it up with the exercise before the race.
Well, you can bet your last pound that one of the fittest men in the fleet, physically and mentally, is Chris Dixon, the skipper of Tokyo. He's arguably New Zealand's most talented yachtsman. Yet his fierce determination to be simply the best has led to him sometimes being loathed as well as admired.
It was no surprise to see Chris Dixon waving the Heineken Trophy at the end of leg one, a victory made even sweeter by his great rival Dennis Conner arriving on Winston some 13 hours later. The Whitbread represents a sea change for Conner and Dixon. Both made their names over short courses like the America's Cup. They last clashed head-to-head 7 years ago in Fremantle. Dixon was the brash 24-year-old at the helm of New Zealand's KZ7, which appeared almost invincible. But his cocky attitude annoyed and embarrassed even his own countrymen.
We tried losing in the first round. We didn't like that, and happily we haven't tried it again since then.
Kiwis were prepared to put up with their very own super brat, just so long as he was winning. But when Dixon misjudged a turning mark while chasing Conner's Stars and Stripes in the Challengers final, it not only signalled KZ7's exit from the Cup, it also led to Dixon losing his favoured son status among New Zealand's sailing hierarchy. In subsequent America's Cup campaigns, he's competed for Japan. A yachtsman who knows Dixon well is Eddie Warden-Owen, Britain's top match racer. In his assessment, there are echoes of the once great John McEnroe's approach.
It's arrogance, it's total confidence, it's dedication, really an attitude where he expects to win and he goes out there and does win. The difference between Chris and most of the other sailors is that probably a lot of the skippers work hard to try and, you know, have a rapport and mutual respect with the crew, and what Chris does is basically through his desire and urgency to win, he inspires his crew to have the same attitude.
And that's to win at all costs. In the 1989 final of the World Match Racing Championships, Peter Gilmore's mast snapped in spectacular style. There were no cries of hard luck or what a shame on Dixon's boat. The smile said it all. He went on to take the title. In Dixon's build-up to the Whitbread, he carried out extensive trials on 2 different boats from different designers and then chose the best. Not uncommon in the America's Cup, but unique to the Whitbread. Dixon may be a rookie when it comes to offshore racing, but he's already proved he's a fast learner.
I'm enjoying this Whitbread. I enjoyed my time match racing, and I'm sure I'll get back there one day, but it was certainly time for a change. The Whitbread's turning out to be a lot more fun than I thought it would. The hard work is rewarding. The 6 hourly positions that come through, it's kind of a punch in the stomach or a pat on the back every 6 hours, and that's kind of sums it up. It's punch and thrust racing, and I'm loving it.
And you can be sure Chris Dixon will be there or thereabouts when the Whitbread honours are handed out. We'll be back after the break with the latest race positions, and there's our competition for you.
Excuse me, I was looking for some shoes. Oh, yes, madam. Size 6 black court shoes. Something a bit thingamy, but not too. How's your father to go with his slinky back this number? There you are. Oh, thank you. I'll try them on.
At Shoe Express, we've got thousands of great value shoes, so feel free to serve yourself.
What do you think? Oh, they look fabulous. And haven't I seen you with my husband? I wouldn't touch him with a shoe on. Me neither. Bye.
Shoe Express. Help yourself to great value shoes.
Hello? Caterer, dinner party for 6?
I'm afraid I don't know where anything is. It's my boyfriend's flat.
Oh, that's okay. I've brought the essentials.
Who's that?
The caterer.
She's cutting it fine.
He.
Rich coffee aroma, smooth coffee flavor. Nescafe Gold Blend.
That was excellent. Thank you.
Oh, don't thank me. My sister's the caterer, but she's ill. I said I'd help out. So, how are you getting home?
Any more of that delicious coffee?
I'll get it. The caterer's just leaving.
Typical. What? You've broken the key in the door.
Call Talking Pages on 0345 600 900. Calls charged at local rates.
The Citroën AX doesn't just give you sparkling performance or just superb road holding. Because right now, the Citroën AX won't cost you anything to insure. No wonder everyone's falling for it. The Citroën AX, now with 1 year's free insurance.
For about the price of a pint, you can run an electric dishwasher for a week. Make life easier. Let the man do the dishes.
Blue Killy. Luckily. Grudgingly. Sick as apparently. Famously smooth. Tetley.
Ultra Lenore has an exciting new freshness. Tropical fresh. An exotic, gentle freshness. It's a breath of tropical fresh air for your wash from Ultra Lenore.
Buy one pair from the remarkable Shoe Express Chatsworth range for only £12.99, 2 for £24 or 3 for just £34. Only at Shoe Express.
Welcome back. Now, all the Whitbread boats are made to withstand the most extreme of conditions. Nevertheless, hardly a leg goes by without some problems. Booms and masts break, sails tear. Well, Sally Simmons has been looking at the quest to make equipment as durable as possible.
1.5 legs down, and we've already had 1 broken boom, 1 missing rudder, and not 1, but 2 lost masts. No matter how hard the designers try, gear always breaks.
It's the nature of the beast. We're in the racing game, supplying components to the racing game, and there is far more abuse in the quest for speed than there is by the weekend sailor out for a bit of fun.
Our major problem is we're always being pushed to make things lighter. And if you go too light, things don't get strong enough. So it's a fine line between the two.
We actually do go much further than people would imagine in trimming down the weight. But with modern techniques and good material distribution, it's surprising we can actually make specialist items which are smaller and lighter than one would see on the everyday boat or even an America's Cup boat, but with good safety factors.
Back in the first Whitbread race in 1973, boats had wooden decks, heavy solid fittings, robust sails. The yachts were built to last, weight wasn't an issue. Completing the race with everything intact was a challenge. Today, every element above and below deck has been fine-tuned in the extreme. Countless computer programs, hundreds of technical experts work to reduce weight and improve performance. This winch will sit here for a month with up to 2 tons tugging on its drum, about the same force exerted by a main halyard. This fatigue test is the only way to ensure the winch will last, and lose a winch and you've lost the use of the driving force of the boat, the sails. Wheels have to withstand helmsmen leaning on them, waves washing over them, and at worst have gear crushing them. The deep hub and split spokes spread the load and make the wheel more rigid. The fork at the edge reduces the gap between the spokes, strengthening the rim. And the newly designed booms for the Whitbread 60s can resist enormous forces exerted by sail tension. 5 tons, or as verified by London Zoo, the weight of an elephant pulls up along the leach line. But almost all boom breakages occur when it drags through the water, as Winston's did. With the crews now driving their boats to the limits, the designers are biting their nails, hoping their equipment passes the toughest test of them all.
Well, when it comes to equipment, everyone is seeking perfection. On an ocean-going yacht, you want equipment that's going to be tough. You also want it to be light. But Tracy, perfection is hard to obtain, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. And obviously the manufacturers and the designers of the equipment have a huge problem with the fact that it does have to be light. You know, you are in a racing boat that's racing around the world. You want it to be as fast as possible. So they're trying to develop things which are light, but of course which have to have huge strength to take care of the weather conditions in the Southern Ocean and also the North and South Atlantic. You know, so it is a big problem. Obviously things get better and better every year, technology gets better and better, but at the end of the day you are setting out to challenge the elements. You know, sort of maybe thinking that man is superior to the elements because we managed to conquer everything around us in our immediate surroundings. So when you then go out into the middle of the ocean and you find all this stuff just breaking around you like cotton, then it's a bit of a shock to the system.
Tracy, thanks. Well, time now for our competition, but first the answer to last week's question, and the name of Simon Le Bon's boat in the 1985-86 race was Drum. And here are the 5 lucky winners who will be receiving a copy of Rick Tomlinson's beautiful Whitbread calendar. They also go into the draw for a trip to see the Whitbread yachts in Florida, courtesy of Marina Developments of Hamble. Now this week's question. Leg 2 between Uruguay and Australia is the longest in the race, but what's the exact distance? Is it A, 7,401 miles, B, 7,558 miles, C, 7,636 miles? Your answer please on 0891 664444. That's 0891 664444. You have until Wednesday night to make your calls. 3 winners will receive a Whitbread fleece top from Henry Lloyd and go into that draw for the Florida trip. Phone 0891 664444 as well for Yachtline, which provides up-to-date information on the race. Part of the profits from Yachtline go to Radio Lollipop, the official charity of the race, and Radio Lollipop has already received more than £3,000 from Yachtline.
Right, let's find out the latest position of the yachts 2 weeks into the marathon leg from Uruguay to Australia. The leg winners in both classes will receive the Heineken Trophy. New Zealand Endeavour is still holding on to her overall lead. She has 3,638 miles to go to Fremantle. The harder the wind blows, the more it should favour the leading Whitbread 60, Intrum Justitia. British skipper Laurie Smith has already broken a speed record twice and is now 53 miles behind Endeavour, 14 in front of the second boat in his class, Tokyo, skippered by another all-rounder like Smith, Kiwi Chris Dixon. Tokyo too has gone past the second maxi, Merit Cub. Pierre Fellman's Swiss Ketch has dropped back since the wind picked up. She has 3,716 miles to go. If the heavy weather continues, Yamaha will be the next 60-footer to ghost past Merit. She's only 3 miles further back. Yamaha went down to about 55 degrees south, and while it didn't appear to be paying off, it all started to happen as she headed north towards the leaders in the 60 class. Her point of sail giving her the edge as she joined them. Yamaha began to make big gains and has overtaken Winston and Galicia. In 6th place overall is Brad Butterworth's Winston. Her crew have had to be extra careful since the front pulpit where lifelines are attached tore off. 7th is Galicia. The Spanish have been disappointing this week, their progress slowed by a broken spinnaker pole. Then comes the third maxi ketch La Poste, some 160 miles behind Endeavour. Back with the Whitbread 60s, Brooksfield is 6th in her class, 71 miles ahead of her principal rival Dolphin and Youth. The British boat shows great bursts of speed, but Matthew Humphries and his crew seem unable to make inroads on the leading bunch. There's then a gap of over 170 miles to the next yacht, which is Hetman, and a further 127 miles back is the Women's Challenge. Rough weather has taken its toll. Britain's Susie Crafer on the left has a suspected leg fracture battered by a huge wave. At the back of the fleet, the maxi sloop Uruguay Natural is involved in a tight battle with the Ukrainian 60, Odessa.
The racing then continues to be close. And that's it from Sail the World from the BT Tower in London.
Yes, join us again next week for more excitement from the Whitbread Round the World race. Until then, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Sailing the World with ITV, the Whitbread Round the World race for the Heineken Trophy.